Okay, apparently we're live now, and we are back. Just me and Mr. Locario here. So we're going to be interviewing Mr. Locario, talking about dating, a lot of relationships too. I think a big thing a lot of guys don't realize is, especially on my side of in my communities, there's a massive focus on dating, but then they get a woman and they don't know what to do after that. So it's like a lot of focus on obtaining but not maintaining. So I just made that on the spot. That sounds good. Anyway, did you catch the Michael Jackson movie?
Oh yeah. No, that shit was fire. I liked it a lot.
I would have liked it if I didn't have some fucking asshole teenagers sitting behind me. The whole thing was fucking sold out. I had to get front row seats, greasy ass front row seats. Oh my God. I forgot how much I hate it because they were the only fucking seats left. And after almost an hour, I was like, these guys just won't shut the fuck up. So I turned on my flashlight, put on the video, and I stood up, turned around, and said, "Shut the fuck up, stupid!"
You gotta go see it again. Now you gotta go see it again. That shit, that shit was
exactly. Fire. I was like,
gotta see it again.
These fucking guys were like maybe 15 years old or 7. I don't fucking know. Those fucking guys weren't even alive when Michael Jackson was. Just think about that. I'm
right.
Like, nobody ever dares interrupt Michael Jackson. I was so furious. I was, crazy. I was scaring the shit out of them when I was going to the bathroom after they were coming out and they were shitting bricks. It was great.
Yeah, not a Michael Jackson was fire, man. I love that shit. That shit was fire.
I need to see it again, but yeah, the Joseph Jackson portrayal is just completely insane. It's like, goddamn. Right. Anyway, crying tears here. Anyway, I forgot where I wanted to go with this. So where I want to start is, you say game isn't about women. We discussed this before, but you say game isn't about women. Explain.
Yeah, so that, and I'm glad you started with that because I think that right there is the foundation of where a lot of guys have to, go with it. Because what most people, first of all, get confused when it comes to talking about game is a lot of people think game is a way to try to either, get women who don't want you to want you, or to say some magical thing to attract a woman or things like that. So they're always putting the woman in the equation, right? But what you got to understand is that game is a strategy for you to get what you want on your terms in life, right? So that goes all across the board, right? So the reason why it's not about women is because the game is about you getting what you want on your terms in your life. So your life is not just composed of dealing with women. Your life is everything going on in your life. Do you see what I'm saying? So women can be one component, but there's all these other aspects of your life. So the common denominator of all these other aspects in your life is you. So it's you when you're working. It's you when you're dealing with women. It's you when you're, just like relaxing and having a good time. It's you when you're stressed out. It's you when you're happy. It's all these things it's all you. So when we say the game is not about women, we're telling guys that you got to focus on yourself, because what happens is that when you put the focus on women, you are usually, in most cases, disregarding yourself. And that's kind of like the thing where guys have a hard time dealing with women in general. So a lot of times what guys do is they say, what can I do or say or be in order to be more attractive to women, right? But when they say that, they're focusing on the women. If they focus on themselves, women are a byproduct of that, meaning that women are going to automatically be attracted to them based on the guy being attracted to himself, seeing himself as that dude. But the problem is that a lot of guys, unfortunately, they don't believe in themselves. So what they do is they think game is figuring out pickup lines or tricks or gimmicks to get a girl hooked or to get a girl to want to deal with them. And then that's where they go wrong. You know what I'm saying? At the beginning. You see what I mean?
We got a comment here challenging you. They say that game is not about women, but all his videos are about women. What do you got to say about yourself, Mr. Locario?
You see that? It just went over his head. So that's what Hashim, I'm glad you actually asked that, because that's what a lot of dudes think. So I have a dating channel. And I also have, for example, a channel about money and business called Locario Motivation and Success and all that other stuff. So when you're watching the dating channel, then you're going to talk about dating and relationships with it, which involves women. If you check out the channel that talks about, money and business, you're going to talk about money and business, right? If I started a cooking channel, we're going to be talking about cooking and baking and ingredients and all that other stuff. So what would happen is if you were to look at all my channels, right, the common denominator of you looking at all those channels is you. So this is why we keep saying it comes back to you. So when you say, well, all his videos are about women, yes, it's about you dealing with women based on you looking at that channel. You see what I'm saying? So the problem is that when guys are focused on the woman, the problem is that they are unattractive to women because they're focusing on the women. That's the entire, like, if guys would stop focusing on women and focusing more on themselves and how they want to do stuff, then women would actually be more attracted to them. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll give you a perfect example, right? So let's say, for example, let's say like I have a book or something, right? So I have a book and I want you to buy my book, right? So I say, I swipe, buy my book, please buy my book or whatever, right? So you don't care about my book. You only care about what Ice White cares about. You see what I'm saying? Now, if there's something in my book that Ice White cares about, then he will purchase the book. You will purchase the book because there's something in it that pertains to you, right? I'm trying to sell the book. You will pay for the book if it pertains to you, right? So if I'm sitting there worried about you, right, and not focusing on me, then what happens is that I'm expecting you to do something for me. And that's what a lot of guys do when it comes to dealing with women. They say, I like her. She looks hot. She's a dime. She's a 10 and all this other stuff. And so they're like, I want her. So I want her to want me because I want her. She doesn't care that you want her. She only cares about what she wants. And so the thing is that what you guys have to understand is that a woman is never getting with you or interacting with you because of you. She's interacting with you because of her. It's because of what she wants. Now, what does a woman want? A woman wants a man she's attracted to. Who are the types of guys that women are attracted to? Women are attracted to guys who don't make it about women, who don't make it about them. That's why the bad boys get all the women that, the women don't want to mess with the bad boys. This is why the quote unquote assholes get all the sex. It's because those guys are so focused on themselves and they don't care about what the woman is thinking or what she wants. And then that makes the woman attracted to that guy. That's how it works. You see what I'm saying? Like, but see, a lot of this is a mindset. So if you have a messed up mindset when it comes to the game, then you're going to have a lot of problems. You understand?
Yeah, I like to, when you first told me about that, it made a lot of sense because I was like, damn, nobody in my community or industry ever put it like that, because it seemed like they always made it about women. Like, we're going to go out, do some cold approaches today, get 100 phone numbers and shit. It's like that. Everything from their communication to just like how they're doing everything in general comes down to them chasing women. But as I came to understand it over time, I'm way more aligned with the belief that game is life itself and that there are 3 stages. Stage 1, dating. Stage 2, relationships. Stage 3, family. If you don't want family, then consider it to be your legacy. So that's my thoughts on how guys should observe what it actually is, because it's life itself. You're the protagonist, just like a video game. The character you're playing is called the protagonist. It makes much more sense in order to actually live your life, and the dating, relationships, and family are a major part of that. But your life isn't about women. Your life is about your life. It's your fucking story.
Yeah, and also
the Michael Jackson movie is about Michael Jackson, not Michael Jackson's relationship or whatever.
Right. And also too, the thing that, a lot of guys don't understand when it comes to this, right, is that, so like you were saying in the pickup artist community, right, you have to understand that a lot of guys who are in the pickup artist community, usually come from a background of them being kind of like in a nerdy predicament. They're like, come from being nerds and kind of like never really having success with women. And so what happens is that they find an outlet to be able to attract women, right? So what happens is that because of that nerdy mindset, and I'm not even saying this to be disrespectful, I'm just saying that this is how a lot of guys think. A lot of men, just in general, we think very practical and logical and all that other stuff. It's like, numbers and facts and figures and all that other stuff. So now what happens is that when guys are thinking about attracting women or being attractive, they're like, okay, what is the formula? What is like I've seen some of your comments, they'll say, Locario, he just talks about a lot of stuff, but he didn't give any practical, step-by-step advice. And I'm like, well, yeah, I do, but you got to pay for that. That's why I have a Bad Boy membership and shoplocario.com, because a lot of stuff that I teach as far as, step-by-step what to do is behind the paywall. I ain't gonna give it for free like that. I'll give a little bit for free, but not too much. But what I'm saying is that a lot of guys, because they think very logical and thinking all this other stuff, they forget about the other side of the spectrum, which is the energy and the feeling that goes into these interactions, right? So there's a certain level of awareness that guys don't have, which is why they're not able to connect with women. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what they're thinking about is they're thinking strictly on, well, what's the line that I have to say? What's the pickup line? You know what, Locario, Ice, give me a line to say to this girl, right? The problem with that is that we could give you the best line ever. The issue is that after you say that line, then what? You understand what I'm saying? Oh, give me another line. Okay, you say that after that line, then what? So we can't hold your hand through this whole thing. The guy who's behind the line is the important thing, not the line. You understand what I'm saying? Because I can tell you to say a certain thing, but if you don't believe in you, it's not going to matter, because you're going to say that, and then the woman's going to realize that that line you said was not really you saying it. It's not really coming from you. So then you can't even maintain anything after that. And that's what a lot of guys do. When it comes to the game, it's about learning yourself and learning you. And when you learn yourself and learn you, then what happens is that you're able to effectively interact with women. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the thing.
Absolutely. It's funny. I actually had that as one of my questions. So I might as well just ask it now. What problems do you have, aside from what you just mentioned, with pickup artist teachings or the community in general?
Yeah. So the thing is this, is the issue with most pickup artists, right, is that they put the woman in front of themselves. So meaning, because this is the thing, pickup artists get sex. They're gonna go out there, they're gonna talk to women, they're gonna meet women, and they're gonna sleep with women. Some of them will sleep with a lot of women, actually, right? This is the problem, though. This is the issue with this. The issue at the end of the day is it's about how are you getting the sex is important, because how you're getting the sex is gonna basically show you how it's happening, and then your mentality, your mindset is going to be a certain way. So for example, a guy may talk to a girl and she may brush him off. This is what, or say something slick. So she'll give him the shit test, right? Then what'll happen is that he'll continue to talk to her. So from that point on, when she gave him the shit test, she's already showing some form of disinterest. A lot of pickup artists think shit tests are good because they think it's her testing you to see your masculinity and all this other stuff, right? But I always tell guys is that women who actually like you, women who are really into you, don't test you like that, right? Now, so he gets the shit test. He continues to talk to her. He's talking to her for another hour, right? She's still giving him a little resistance, but she's still talking to him. Next thing you know, he's talking to her for another hour. 2 hours passed, right? So then he's trying to sleep with her that night. She's like, no, I'm not that type of girl or whatever. He's all right, well, let me just exchange numbers. They exchange numbers. He might take her out on a date next week. He tries to sleep with her on that date. She's like, oh, I like to move slow. He's like, okay. And he's doing all this because she's an 8, 9, or a 10. Then what happens is that by the third or fourth time they meet, they end up having sex. So he met this woman. He had sex with her, maybe in like 2 week span, 3 week span, if that's the case. I'm just, spitballing it, right? Now, the problem with that is that he thinks that he's winning he thinks that his game is tight because he had sex with her. The problem with that is that he had sex with her on the woman's terms. You see what I'm saying? Which means that he doesn't know how to get sex how he wants it. He only can get sex how a woman wants it. Now, let's fast forward to, let's say, for example, a man who's in a long-term relationship or a marriage. Notice how you hear guys in marriages say, oh, me and my wife haven't had sex in a few months, or I'm in a sexless marriage. See, a sexless marriage happens as a result of a man not having sex on his terms. And that starts out from when you first met the woman and you wanted to have sex with her. She gave you pushback. She said, let's wait. And then you chased her because she was hot. You see what I'm saying? So now she's trained you to wait for sex. She's trained you to wait on her. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is why I try to tell guys is that you think you're winning because you're dealing with this girl that you had to wear down and talk to her for months and weeks and all this other stuff, or days or whatever it is, right? Shout out to Deepak. I remember he said he went on like 9 dates with a girl at some point.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
nine.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Deepak. But that's what I'm saying. So now you're training yourself to interact with women that way. And that's the problem. That's the entire problem. So yeah, you had sex, but you had sex on the woman's terms, which means that you don't have a woman who highly desires you, because a woman who highly desires you has sex with you on your terms. And the reason why she has sex with you on your terms is because she's already ready to have sex with you because she highly desires you. So whenever you say it's on, it's on. So the thing is this, I always tell guys, if anyone's going to wait for sex, it should be the woman. Do you see what I'm saying? So meaning that you don't need to have sex with a woman on the first time you meet her, but it should be your decision that we're not having sex. It should never be hers. If she says we're not having sex, you should be like, goodbye. This is not the one. The women that you should be dealing with is when you let her know, hey, let's go back to my place. She's 100% with it, with no resistance. The women who actually want to get down now. If there's any resistance, or you got to, it's like you're begging her, or you're waiting around, or you're taking more time, and her being hot to you doesn't make a difference, because what the excuse will be is most guys will say, oh, but she's so hot though. For the hot women, you got to do a lot of things. You got to spend more time because she's hotter. It's harder because she's hotter, which is false. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy.
But I haven't got laid in 2 weeks, Mr. Locario. I need this right now. A lot of guys do come from kind of desperation to some extent, because just imagine how many guys are out there who probably haven't got laid in so fucking long. So all this stuff you're saying just kind of means nothing to them, because they're just willing to take whatever they can get.
Yeah, and it's the thing. This is the thing. And I'll say this, Ice, to be fair. I can't really blame a lot of these guys for doing it, because you got to understand that, a lot of there's levels to the game, right? So when I was younger, I was just like these guys. This is why I'm trying to get guys to see. See what happened is this, right? There's a lot of things I had to learn through trial and error, right? And so I wish when I was way younger, there was somebody to tell me, hey, Locario, you don't need to waste your time. You're wasting your time with these women who don't like you. You know that you're chasing this woman. You know that if this woman was really into you, she'd be at your place when you say, like, it's really that simple. So as time went on, and as I learned more, and as I started to see things, I was like, wait a second. This girl over here, she's like down with whatever I say. Then this girl over here, she's giving me a lot of friction. This girl over here, she's meeting me at the date on time with no resistance. This girl over here, she's like giving me excuses, giving me the runaround. This girl over here, she's, very cooperative. She's highly sexually attracted to me. This girl over here, she's giving me excuses. So I started to see this pattern that the women who are actually feeling you, you don't have to do this runaround. The women who aren't really feeling you, you have to. And that's because they're not really feeling you. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the thing where guys think game is trying to get the women who aren't feeling you to feel you. That's not the game. You see what I'm saying? That's chasing, right? Like I remember, and shout out to Michael Sartain. I remember he said something to the effect, he was like, I'm trying to get the girls who don't want me to want me, or something like that, or he said something to that effect, and I'm like, no, that's not. Why would you want a woman who doesn't want you? Because eventually what's going to happen is that you're going to have a lot of friction, a lot of headache, and a lot of drama. That's what happens when women don't like you. Because remember, women are going to deal with you because they want attention. Now, if a woman wants attention more than she wants you, you're in trouble. And so a lot of guys think her wanting attention from them means that she wants them. No, a woman just wants your attention if she's not interested in you. It's just like, for example, a lot of us guys, we might meet a woman and want to sleep with her. That doesn't mean we want her to be our girlfriend or wife, right? So imagine a woman thinking that just because you're sleeping with her, that automatically means you want a long-term relationship. You look at her like she's crazy. You're like, he don't want no long. He's just sleeping with you. He just only comes through 2:00 in the morning to have sex with you. That's your relationship. So if you're talking to a woman and you wanted to have sex with her the first night or the second time you met her, and y'all been on 6 dates with no sex, what does that mean? That means that woman is not into you like that. So either the sex is going to happen way later, or it may never happen. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem with a lot of guys. And they want this idea that, I can convince a woman or persuade a woman who doesn't really like me to like me. The only thing that really happens is a man can wear a woman down to the point she settles for him. And that's all that happens in those situations. And they think that's game. That's not having game. Remember, having game is you having a strategy. And the key thing is that strategy to get what you want on your terms. If it's not on your terms, it's weak game. It's really that simple.
Interesting. Similar line of questions here. What signs should guys look out for to identify women who are submissive? And what ways can you also identify women who are not?
Oh yeah, that's pretty simple. So basically what you do is the way that you see if a woman is actually submissive, right, is when you first talk to a woman, the first conversation, there needs to be flirting and sexual tension being built in the situation and conversation. And you need to see if that woman is following that. If she's being resistant to your flirting and resistant to you building sexual tension, that means that she's not going to be submissive to you, right? Because remember, submissive means under a mission, under mission, missive. Submission is under a mission. The mission is I'm letting the woman know that this is a sexual situation that will happen between us. If she is not with it, she will show me through her actions that she's not submissive. So if I talk to a girl, and let's say I approach a woman and I introduce myself, hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm Locario. What's your name? Jennifer. Jennifer, nice to meet you, right? So just a regular introduction, right? So now once I introduce myself, right, and I start having a conversation with her and I say, hey, listen, I came over here because I was checking you out and, you look like you might be my type. So I think me and you should get together, get a drink this weekend. And then chop it up and see what's up, right? So now what happens is that because I'm having this conversation and I'm interacting with her, I'm seeing, is she receptive to what I'm saying and me talking about us getting together to do something, right? So now within that conversation, if we exchange numbers and we're setting things up, right? What happens is that if I have that drink with this woman and we're talking and I'm flirting and I'm building sexual tension with this woman, if she's responding back by flirting back with me, by showing interest, that's the girl who is showing that she is going to be cooperative and submissive. Now, she has to be consistent with this because sometimes a woman at this moment might act that way and then later on she switches up. But there's a chance that this woman is actually feeling you. Now, the one who's not submissive is going to totally not be about it, right? So she's going to be a little standoffish. If I say, hey, take my number, take your phone out, put my number in it, she might say, oh, well, why do I got to take out my number of my phone? Why don't you take my number? Like that's already being combative. You see what I'm saying? So that's not her being submissive, right? So what happens is a woman will show you through her actions if she's submissive or not. The key though is you have to be direct and clear about what you want to happen in the situation. The problem is a lot of guys are way too indirect. And then so therefore you prolong the situation. Because the thing is, once you leave a woman, once you walk away from a woman, she should know exactly what you want to happen. And you should know if she's down with it or not. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I am indirect with a woman. Hey, what's up? Yeah, we should just like hang out and chill. You seem pretty cool, right? That's a little bit too indirect, because hang out and do what? You know, what's cool about you? You know what I'm saying? So then she said, oh yeah, that's cool. Here's my number. We exchanged numbers. So now I think I did something. No, I don't know if this woman actually is interested in me. You understand what I'm saying? She might just think I'm a nice guy and want to be friends. I don't know. So now I'm thinking I'm about to sleep with this woman. She's thinking he'll be a good friend. I can get him to hang out with me and talk to me. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that in order for you as the man to realize if the woman is really feeling you, you have to interact with her by flirting and building sexual tension to see if that particular woman is feeling you. And she'll show you through her actions, but the only way she's going to show you is by you creating the scenario where she has to respond to you based on what you're saying and what you're clearly saying. It's that simple.
Yeah. It seems like you're in very much a lot of agreement with Michael Sartain on what he calls compliance. You call it cooperation. And you also mentioned attention there. That's a tricky thing for some guys. They get trapped into, I'm getting a bit of attention. She loves me so much.
Right.
And yeah, is that something you would agree with on Michael Sartain then? Because he says he's specifically looking for a woman's compliance. For example, it's probably the same thing you mean in terms of cooperation to quite an extent. For example, let's say I suggest we meet at some milkshake place. She comes to the place. She's showing complaints. I want to take her to my place. She comes to the place. And to my place, that's compliance. She comes to the bedroom because I lead her there. That's compliance. Is that pretty much the same thing as cooperation?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. The thing also too, though, is that guys have to make sure that the cooperation or the compliance is consistent. And so consistency means that it needs to happen every time over time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Meaning that if I meet a woman and we talking and we having a conversation and she's, being responsive to me, and I say, hey, take out your phone, put my number in it. And she puts my number in the phone. And I say, text me, tonight. She texts me tonight, right? I tell her, okay, let's meet Friday, 8:00. She says, cool, sounds good. She meets me Friday, 8:00. So notice everything is happening in a sequence where she's just going with it. She's doing it. That's consistent cooperation, right? So now what happens is that sometimes women will give you that inconsistency. So therefore she'll break the compliance or the cooperation, meaning that I might tell her to, take my phone number. She does it. I tell her to text me. She does, right? I tell her, let's meet at this bar Friday, 8:00. Now at this point, let's say she says, oh, well, I don't want to drink. I would rather if you took me to dinner. So now she's not cooperating anymore. You see what I'm saying? So now at that point, she's being inconsistent. And that's showing me that this is the type of woman that I shouldn't be interacting with. See, a lot of guys, what they do is that they feel like they've invested a lot, so they want to keep it going. But the woman is giving you a sign of being uncooperative. And so what's going to happen is that there's going to be more uncooperative behavior as time goes on when you're dealing with the woman, right? So what a lot of guys don't understand is when a woman is highly, highly interested in you, there's going to be consistent cooperation, which means that she's going to be showing her best behavior with you consistently. Why? Because she doesn't want to actually lose the situation. So what happens is this, what guys don't understand is that when it comes to the game, it's a power dynamic. When the woman sees you as an opportunity, a benefit to her, a highly sexually attractive guy, she's saying to herself, what can I do to be able to keep him interested in me? Right? And so what she understands is that when she's dealing with a man who's a leader, she's like, all I have to do is follow his lead, submit to him, and then I will get to benefit from being with him. Right? And so what happens is that uncooperative behavior is a woman saying, I could take it or leave it. He's all right. He's not really my top choice. So this is why she's uncooperative. Why? Because the uncooperative behavior is basically her saying, I'm not highly interested in you. I might be interested in you a little bit, somewhat, but I'm being uncooperative because I need more. So when I tell that woman to meet me for drinks at 8:00 at the bar, and she says, well, you know what? I would rather us go to dinner. The reason why she would rather us go to dinner is because she's not highly interested in me and she needs something else to compensate for her lack of interest, right? So let's say, for example, a woman being interested in me is at 100%, right? So that means she's going to cooperate and be consistent. If the woman is interested in me, let's say 75%, when I tell her to come meet me for the drink and she says, you know what, how about we go to dinner instead? The dinner is going to take up the 25% that she's not interested. So she's interested in me 75%. The dinner is going to make up for the 25% missing. That's going to equal 100%. So that's why I tell you guys, whenever a woman is giving you pushback, resistance, or whatever, she's basically sending you a message that she's not really interested in you like that. And therefore you have to compensate. So the uncooperative behavior is basically her saying, listen, I need you to compensate because I'm not fully interested in you right now. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not fully interested in you at all. And then that's how it works.
Interesting. That's a good visualization to have, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens if, let's say, she is at that 75%, or if it's higher than that, 80%, 90%? Do you just go home and like never deal with her again, or put her at the back of the line or something?
No, you can see, this is the thing. You can choose to deal with her if you want. Just understand that you're dealing with a woman at 75%. So meaning that it's like, you know, when you get like somebody gets like a used car or a used piece of equipment or electronics or something. So you're purchasing it, but you're purchasing it with the knowledge that this is not 100%, reliable. You're like, yeah, I'll take it for this amount, but I understand like the wheel might act funny and you see what I'm saying? So when you deal with women who are uncooperative, you could deal with her if you want. Just understand that there's something that comes with that. It's more uncooperative behavior. There's, potential for dramas, potential for you being frustrated with her behavior because she's showing you right now she's not that interested. And guys have to understand this, right? And this is where it gets deep. When you're dealing with a woman who's not interested in you like that, right? What happens is that woman, every time she looks at you and experiences you, it's a reminder that she's settling. You understand what I'm saying? It's a reminder that she's settling, which means that because she's reminded that she's settling, that's why she's going to give you negative behavior. You understand what I'm saying? Which means is that she's basically saying, I'm kind of upset with myself that I'm even here. Like I'm even bothering with you. So any little thing you do is going to annoy her, piss her off, make her angry, get her upset or whatever it is like that, which is why she's going to give that negative energy towards you. So what happens is she already sees you as her settling and you're already at a deficit in that situation, right? So any little thing you do, she'll use that against you to basically shit on you. You understand? This is why a lot of times you see guys who are married and the women don't respect them and the woman's talking crap to them and, she's low key doing this and that, is because every time she looks at him, she's disgusted by her decision of dealing with him. She's like, damn, I could have done better than this. Damn, why am I even dealing with this guy? He sucks. You understand? Is that so? That's happening subconsciously in her mind, and that's why you get more resistance and more of that stuff. So that's why I always encourage guys to, the only women you take seriously are the women who have 100% high interest in you, and those are the ones who are going to cooperate consistently. You know what I'm saying? And give you a certain level of respect. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want to throw on my version of something that's very similar to this. So in my book, The Message Game, which I released 6 years ago now, holy shit. God, I'm getting old. There was a thing in there called the 2-week line strategy. And it's essentially just this thing where if a woman isn't being, as you say, cooperative, the words I put it into is more like unresponsive because it's messaging specifically. If she is being unresponsive as in you invite her somewhere, like let's go out on a date on Saturday, and she says no or she flakes, that's her being unresponsive. It's much more than just unresponsive. but I count it as unresponsive. I would also count as obviously unresponsive if she's not replying for a while and she ignores your questions, just general unresponsiveness. When you have these Tinder matches who are being unresponsive, what you got to do is put them at the back of the line for 2 weeks and talk to other women in that 2 weeks. Go on dates with other women in those 2 weeks and never send them another message until they're 2 weeks in inactivity jail, I guess we could describe it, is up. Like, why would I want to keep throwing messages at her if she keeps saying no to like grabbing a milkshake or something? That would just be silly. I seen it's funny, I seen guys send like a message every single day saying, are you available on Wednesday? Are you available? Like, man, calm down. It's a preventative measure for your own desperation if you are that kind of person. But it also is great because it puts the women who are responsive first and the unresponsive ones go to the back. So it speeds up the process and makes it much more efficient. So at your immediate attention, the women you're dealing with that you're messaging in the moment, you're more likely to be dealing with women who are more responsive, more likely to go on a date with you, less likely to flake, less likely to ignore that message you just sent her. So that's my message game version that sounds kind of similar to that. But let's jump on to another question. Similar to what we were just discussing, you have a recent video and it said in the thumbnail, lead her or lose her. That was a great way of putting it. How important is it for a man to be leading in dating and relationships?
Oh yeah, leading is very important because you need to see if a woman is going to follow your lead, right? And the reason why you need to see if a woman is going to follow your lead, because you're essentially allowing a woman to be in your space and in your life. And so when you don't lead, what happens is that you allow women to come into your situation and do whatever they want. And the problem is that a lot of guys will do that based on the level of attractiveness they have when it comes to dealing with the woman, right? So they're like, well, this girl's hot. So, you know, shit, I'm just happy she's here, whatever. We'll just go with the flow. But leading is important because, again, you need to make sure that the woman is going to follow your lead, be cooperative so that she's under your structure so that you don't have any nonsense happen in your life, right? Because this is the thing that guys don't understand is that you can be in a situation where if you don't lead, you could potentially put your whole entire life, you know, in a situation that you don't want to be. For example, right now, I don't know if some of y'all probably familiar with this, but the YouTuber Abba from Abba and Preach, he's going through this whole thing right now with some woman that he met where she's putting him on blast on the internet about, you know, what's going on with him and her. And all of this happened because he didn't know how to lead this woman. And so she's potentially ruining his image, which his image is attached to his livelihood of making videos and what he talks about. So you see what I'm saying? So because he didn't lead, now he's in a situation where things occurred that are messing up his actual life. Hold on, why are people calling me? That's crazy. I gotta take my phone out. I'm gonna take my phone off. I didn't even know my phone was on. There ain't no calls unless we can do calls later if you don't do that. But yeah, I turned the phone off. But
I was like, shit, is Miles here? And he's like, surprise, motherfucker. There he is.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that threw me off. Where were we?
Yeah, you're talking about leadership, but yeah, leadership is definitely important, man. And I think this is another thing I'll say too real quick is that when a woman realizes that you aren't leading, right? That's going to be unattractive to her. And then because what's going to happen is that she has to lead by default. So if you're not leading the woman's going to lead you. Somebody always has to lead in the dynamic. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like when you get in a car, somebody has to be behind the wheel. You see what I'm saying? If you get in a car with two people, somebody's behind the wheel, somebody's in a passenger seat. Somebody has to lead in the situation. So it's the same thing in a relationship. When you're dealing with a woman, if you are not leading, she's leading, but automatically. That's how that works.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because what I find, just like as I was saying earlier about 3 stages of being: dating, relationships, family. There are lots of guys who do lead in dating, but then they stop leading once they get into a relationship. They think,
Right.
oh, I did the game to get her in a relationship, but now I can just sit back and relax and put game on the shelf. And then what happens? He stops leading. She starts leading. There's this obvious, hugely well-known phrase: she wears the pants in a relationship. Why is that such a common phrase? Because so many guys stop leading once they get into relationships, and then their relationship deteriorates from there.
Yeah, sometimes what guys do is they do enough to get to sleep with the woman, and a lot of times, even in those situations, they're not leading. But let's say a guy was leading, and then he sleeps with a girl. At some point, she becomes his girlfriend, and he thinks that he can kick his feet up and that's it. And so what happens is that a man has to be on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no rest, right? But it is that this is why it's important. I have a program called Master the Vetting Process, and I have a shop, Locario.com, and I teach about vetting women for long-term relationships. Because the thing is that when you get into a relationship with in a relationship with that woman, and she's in a relationship with you, whatever, what happens is that you are responsible for that woman, and you're responsible for the success of that relationship, which means that you are on at all times, which means that there's no resting, there's none of that. So you have to be prepared for that. And if you're not prepared for that, you shouldn't even get into a relationship. You see what I'm saying? Because the problem is that a lot of guys, they focus on the beginning, of course, of like, oh, I see a hot girl, I want to sleep with her. I get it. Because you're horny, you want to have sex. I get it. But a lot of these guys, they don't know how to vet women for long term. So if they do get into a relationship with that woman, they're going to have a whole bunch of problems because they don't know how to vet for long term. And it's a different thing for vetting for long term versus just meeting a random girl and trying to hook up with her on a Friday night. You see what I'm saying? It's 2 totally different things.
Exactly. You have a problem when people use the word partner when referring to a girlfriend. What exactly is your issue with that?
Yeah, so partner, the issue with that is because partner in some way, shape, or fashion implies equal, like we're on an equal playing field, right? And so when a man is interacting with a woman, right, it's not an equal thing, right? Because what happens is that you two have a different position in a relationship, and you two are doing different things, right? So partner a lot of times comes from, you hear a lot of like LGBTQ community will use that as partner. But what happens is that if you are dealing with a woman, you're a man, she's a woman. So there's different roles that need to be played in this situation for it to flourish and for it to happen. You see what I'm saying? And so partner implies that we're doing the same things and we're at the same level. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm leading, we're not partners, because if we were partners, there would be no leaders. You see what I'm saying? Like we're on that same, we're in the same level. So the fact that I'm leading and she's following, the fact that she's submitting, she's not a partner. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of times what happens is that when guys talk about their women being partners, that's where they have a lot of issues in the relationship, because even though a lot of women will like that title or to like to hear it, at the end of the day, they still want their men to be men. So they want their men to be men when it's time for the man to be a man. But at the same time, they want it to be a partnership. That's not how it works. It's either or. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the thing that you guys got to understand, because if you're starting off the situation like that, then what happens is that you're setting up a dynamic for a situation where you can't lead your woman. Because part of, like we were saying earlier, remember we talked about how do I find out if a woman is submissive or she's interested? Part of finding out if a woman is interested is her cooperating and showing that compliance. A woman can only cooperate and show compliance if she's being led. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So if you don't know how to lead or you're not leading, then that can't happen. And none of that can happen if we're partners. You see what I'm saying? That's not how it works.
Exactly. What was I going to say in relation to that? Slipped my fucking mind, I guess. Give me a moment here. I always do. My memory is just useless at this point. Like a fucking dementia-riddled YouTuber. What the fuck was it? Yeah, it's like I can't remember. Fuck it. God damn. What boundaries should men set in their relationships? And then I'll try to remember the thing.
Okay, yeah. I mean, just boundaries is just really based on your standards, right? So whatever your standard is, that's the boundaries you're going to set in your relationship. The problem is, especially on the internet, guys think that everybody's boundaries or standards are the same, right? So for example, a lot of guys will on the internet, they'll, for example, care about body count. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care about body count, right? So my standard for what is going on with a woman as she's coming into the situation is different than another guy's standard. You see what I'm saying? Or when I have a certain boundary of how a woman is supposed to interact with me is going to be different than another guy's boundary of how they're supposed to interact. So this is why, and shout out to my dude Miles, he talks about having a masculine identity, because your identity is how you relate to the world and how you deal with certain particular things in your way. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is why, again, it goes back to what we were talking about, the game being about you. It's the strategy to get what you want on your terms. You understand? So whatever your boundaries are, it's your terms. Whatever your standards are, it's your terms. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of guys, they'll throw away all their standards and boundaries and all that other stuff if she's hot enough, though. That's the problem with a lot of these dudes out there. If she's a baddie, then all the rules are thrown out. It doesn't matter. She's hot. You know what I'm saying? So dudes will just just throw all of that away. It's crazy.
Yeah, she's hot. She better walk all over you? Hell no. Yeah, boundaries are crazy because like you were saying before, that a man can't really have any rest. You can't just put the game on the fucking shelf.
Right. Exactly.
Relax. I find because I think about my previous relationships and how there are like two types of boundaries, I guess. They're like the boundaries you actually have, and then how you actually enforce it. And that gap is pretty much defined by, are you actually bothered to enforce it right now? And part of that is like, I don't have the time to enforce this boundary right now, or she's too hot for me to enforce the boundary. I don't really care that much, although you should, because you don't want her to have an argument with you or something like that. There's a gap. If there's a gap between your intended boundary and you actually enforcing it, that is a sure sign that you actually need to step the fuck up, stop relaxing, and actually enforce that boundary before she really starts walking all over you at some point, if not already.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. This is why it's important for a man to vet a woman, because when you vet a woman, what happens is you're essentially teaching her how to be with you, right? You have to teach every woman that you are interacting with, you're teaching her how to be with you. Because remember, when you meet a woman, she's coming off the heels of dealing with the other guys she was dealing with, right? And most other guys don't have game. So a lot of times she's coming off the situation dealing with guys who just let her do whatever or say whatever or, run amok or whatever. So then she may think she can do that with you. Now, this is the funny part, though. The more attractive she sees you as, the less she will do that stuff. Because off the rip, she's going to see that you're different than other guys, right? And this is what most of the guys don't understand. Because I saw in the comments, some dudes are like, oh, you're not going to find a girl off rip who's highly interested. Of course you are. There's a lot of women you're going to find off the rip that's highly interested. They're highly interested because they recognize in you masculinity and they recognize the man. What you guys got to understand is that when most women deal with guys, the average guy they're dealing with, they don't see them as a man. They don't respect those dudes because those dudes don't have any masculine identity. They're just ready to bow down to women, right? So when a woman sees you and interacts with you and she sees the way you talk, the way you walk, the vibe, all that other stuff, she's like, oh, this guy's different. You see what I'm saying? This guy is different than the rest of them. And what happens is that this is not something that you're putting on or pretending to be. This is how you are based on you focusing on yourself. This is why I was talking about earlier, is that, see, the average dude is focused on the woman, so he comes to the woman bowing down. The guy with game, when he's interacting with a woman, he's basically letting her know that he's giving her an opportunity and she can either get with it or not. You see what I'm saying? And this is why a lot of times what happens is that most of these dudes will have a hard time dealing with women because they don't understand this power dynamic, right? So, for example, if one guy meets a woman, let's say her name is Stephanie. He meets Stephanie. Stephanie's giving him a hard time. She's giving him pushback, right? So Tom meets Stephanie. Tom is getting pushback from Stephanie. Tomorrow, Kevin meets Stephanie, and Stephanie is all smiles. She's cooperating and everything. So it's the same exact woman. Why is she acting different towards Kevin than Tom? It's because Tom is like the average guy who's kissing her ass and running behind her and passing her shit test and smiling all up in her face and trying to get her to like him. And Kevin is the guy that's like, listen, I could take you or leave you. I really don't give a shit. You understand what I'm saying? And this is me. Either you with it or you're not. You see what I'm saying? It's two different mindsets, which causes two different actions, which causes two different results. That's how it works.
And I want to throw out there, like, for guys who really can't imagine this, there's so many guys who are just dishonest with women because they're afraid of losing her. Imagine living your life with complete fucking honesty, that you could even have kinds of relationships where it's like, yes, I date over women. Yes, I can have more than one girlfriend.
Right.
And you're not afraid for her to react in any particular way. And you'll be surprised much faster than you would expect how many women are actually fucking dig that. It's
right. That's right.
Yeah. But anyway, I did remember that fucking thing finally. When we were talking about the thing before, I can't even remember what we were talking about before exactly. I can't remember, but the thing I remembered at least is it's like whatever it was in business. I've seen quite a few examples of business people not wanting to partnership. That was a topic. In business, I've seen a lot of business savvy people not want to work with someone because they said something like, I need to check with my wife first. Need to check with my partner first. They have to get permission from their wife or their girlfriend first. And this is business. Imagine the same thing if you make any kind of purchase decision. You have to check in with someone else first.
Right.
But if you're a man living on your own terms, you just do what you believe is best for the family or for the relationship or for everyone involved. It's much better because there are lots of business people who just won't respect you if you're trying to do a business deal, but you have to check with your wife first. I saw it in one example of this, at least, that a lot of people have probably seen, was on Shark Tank. I think Kevin O'Leary or whatever his name is did exactly that. It's like, I don't know, I'm pulling my offer away from you now because of that. Anyway, next question. Or actually, let me throw in some from the chat. Keep dropping your questions. I'm nearly done with mine, but keep dropping your questions, guys. And some super chats. We got a great question here. Do you guys take inspiration by the London day game model?
I don't even know what that is. What's the London day game model? I don't know what you're talking
exactly. It was too good not to ask. Yeah, I barely know what. I think it's associated with Tom Torero, but yeah, I both of us, we are not really into that kind of shit. My understanding of what it is, just for everyone who doesn't understand, I don't know the ins and outs of this, but essentially, if you have ever been to London and went
Mm,
to Oxford Street and you see
mm,
like 6 pickup artists running east to west
mm,
on the busiest shopping street in Europe, they're basically just doing spam approach,
mm.
London day game model kind of stuff. That's not for me, not my kind of
Right.
thing. So yeah, on to the next. Um,
That's funny as shit.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this one is a little funny. What if she follows your leadings, but not initiating touch? As in, she's not initiating.
Okay, so that's a good question. So the thing is again, don't care or worry about a woman initiating anything. You understand what I'm saying? So meaning that, I should say this. This is real simple. Don't rely on a woman to do anything on her own. This is why you need to focus on leading. So whatever you want to happen, you lead it in that direction for it to happen. So what happens is a lot of guys wait on women to do things because you want validation or confirmation from women. So you say, oh, well, if she's touching me, then I feel like that means she's interested. Or if this girl's checking me out, that I feel like that means she's choosing me or she's interested. You guys have to always say this. Whatever a woman does on her own doesn't count. Always remember that. Whatever a woman does on her own does not count. Why? Because whatever a woman is doing on her own, she's doing that based on her taking action where she's not under your leadership. So meaning that she took action on her own. She didn't take action based on you leading her. So for example, if a woman does something on her own, I don't know her agenda in doing what she's doing. But if I tell a woman to do something or I lead her somewhere, I know that she's doing it because she wants to follow me for whatever benefit it's going to do for her. But all I know is that she's actually following what I say, right? So if I'm talking to a girl randomly, like let's say I go up to a girl and I just introduce myself. Hey, what's up? How you doing? My name's Locario. And she's like, oh my God, Locario, I like your arms. Can I touch your biceps? Wow, do you work out and all? Right? That's all cool and all of that. But I'm not gonna be like, oh wow, she really likes me. She's grabbing my biceps and triceps. She really wants me. Right? But the whole time in her mind, she's thinking, ooh, look at this guy Locario. He look like he got money. You know what I mean? Let me start grabbing his arms and act like I really like him so I can get him to spend his money on me. Do you see what I'm saying? So now she's coming up to me with an agenda and she did something on her own. Now, if I start leading this woman and telling her what to do and what I need to happen, what could happen is that there's going to be friction and resistance because she's not really into me. So now if I say to this girl, listen, you're touching all of my arms. How about we should get up out of here? Go back to my place right now so I could give you some more things to touch upon, right? So now I tell her this, but remember, she's not sexually interested in me. She's interested in my money. So now what's going to happen is she's going to be like, oh, well, I mean, no, I'm not trying to do all of that and blah, blah, blah. So now it's been revealed that she's not actually interested in me and what I want to do. This is why you have to lead them. You see what I'm saying? Because what happens is that if you're waiting for her to just do something, she could be doing something based on her agenda that has nothing to do with your agenda. You see what I'm saying? And this is how guys get caught up because they basically get fooled into thinking that the woman is interested, and women know that a lot of guys are deprived from female attention. So all I got to do is give him a little bit of attention, give him a little wink and a smile, and then based on how he reacts, I know I got him. You understand what I'm saying? So she swallowed it. Maybe, I think so.
I wrote that one. Had to throw it in there. Now I got another. Now listen, I'm gonna say this just not to sound harsh. This is a silly question, but I'm gonna put it on here with love. It's a silly question. We're gonna answer it. If I want to just smash, how many dates do I need to take her on?
0, none. Absolutely. If you listen, guys, if you know you just want to smash, you don't need to go on any dates, right? There should be no, there should be no reason that you're going to actually, you know what it is. See this. Let me tell you what, guys, the point of the dates are, or to even go on a date, right? A date is really for if you know, right, that you may want something consistent. You understand what I'm saying? With a woman, whether that be a consistent fuck buddy situation or, to actually date her and so forth and so on. But if you see a chick and, you're talking to her and, she's like, yeah, she's kind of cute. I'd hit it, but I'm not really like interested in like doing anything long term, but I mostly want to hit it. Then you don't need to go on any dates. Like even if you meet a girl off a dating app, you can just get her on FaceTime, have a little conversation real quick on FaceTime, and that could be quote unquote your date if that's anything. But you don't have to go out, tell a girl to meet you somewhere, doing all this other stuff because all you want is sex. You see what I'm saying? And so if you're going on dates to get sex, then you're essentially tricking because what you're doing is you're spending a lot of money or time, whatever it is like that, to try to get sex through these other means. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of guys get confused when, let's say, for example, I talk about there's a date. A date is basically you're just doing an activity with a woman. It doesn't have to have romantic intentions behind it. She could be a female friend of yours. Like it's a date, but it's not a date. But technically, it is a date because the point is that you're spending time with a woman, and it is impossible to have sex with a woman if your penis is 100 miles away from her vagina. So like just being in the physical presence of each other, that's pretty much a date under whatever context. It like, are you friends? Is it a date? Well, technically it kind of still is, but it isn't a date, but it is a date. So I would count that as a date, as in it's an opportunity to get laid. Like how many dates are okay if you just want to smash if you met her at a gym? It doesn't matter. Like, I hate throwing numbers out there, but me and Marcus Wolf agreed on if you're at a particular stage of game, you should be able to get laid on the first date close to 90% of the time. Like if you have little to no experience, you may be like, what the fuck? That sounds made up or shit like that. But like really why does it scientifically sound like it has to take at least 2 dates to get laid? The fact is, I like the concept of compliance, or as you say, cooperation. The fact that she showed up on the date is one thing. And okay, you get some complaints from her there. Take her to your house. Her compliance is pretty much 80% there. You get her into your room. Her compliance is pretty much 90% there. How much of an idiot do you have to be to fuck it up from 90%? She's literally sitting on your bed. What can you possibly do to fuck it up? There's a reason. She's not stupid. She came on the date to meet you. She came to your house. She came into your bedroom. She's sitting on the bed. How much more information do you need? Now, this sounds kind of controversial. Don't quote me on that, but that's 90% there. 100%, that's consensual sex. Okay, obviously. But that's just a visual, numerical visualization of how you could think about this. It doesn't have to take 9 dates like Deepak dating. Not to hate on him. He's actually a very nice guy and has some interesting things to say.
Right.
And funny enough, he was actually telling a story about escaping arranged marriage in India. And those stories are completely fucking insane. There was a friend of his who ended up I think committing suicide because he was forced into an arranged marriage. And man, that obviously sucks if you're forced into a relationship you don't want to be in.
Right.
Anyway, moving on.
Let's answer Kashim's question because he's asking the same question over and over again. He said, "Ask Locario, how did he vet his wife to fuck other men?" Okay, so let's answer that for Kashim. So basically, what happens is this, Kashim, right? So what was happening is before I met my wife, right? I was having sex with girls that you date, Kashim. Like, so basically, if you had a girlfriend, I'd be fucking your girlfriend. Right. So I realized that I didn't want to be monogamous. and I didn't want to be in a monogamous relationship. So in order to be in an open relationship or a non-monogamous relationship, then what happens is that if I'm with a woman, and let's say this woman is interested in being my girlfriend or wife, then yes, I have to vet her in order to have that non-monogamous relationship. And in fact, if you want to learn more about this, go to shoplocario.com. I have a whole program called How to Have a Successful Non-Monogamous Relationship, right? So the thing is that guys like Hashim, who usually get their girls like smashed by dudes like me, they feel some type of way and they start using words like cuck in the inappropriate, or I should say in the not inappropriate, but the way that it's not defined, right? So a cuck basically is the old school version of what a cuck was that a guy, he was with his wife, the wife gets pregnant, he doesn't know that it's not his, and he takes care of the baby and so forth and so on. The updated version of cuck is where guys are dealing with a woman and they're submissive to the woman and they get off on seeing their woman have sex with other men, right? So non-monogamy, right, is not cuckoldry. You can have a cuckoldry situation that is non-monogamy, but the entire thing of non-monogamy is not cuckoldry. So this is why I tell you guys, make sure you go to shoplocario.com to get how to have a successful non-monogamous relationship. Because the thing is this, I don't want you guys to sound like an idiot like Hashim, because what happens is that when you say things like this, you show your ignorance to the actual reality of what's going on, right? Because what you got to understand is that non-monogamy is different than monogamy. So basically you're playing two different games. It's almost like basketball and football, right? So if somebody said, hey, did you dunk the football in the hoop? You're going to be like, that doesn't make any sense. You don't dunk footballs. You understand? You dunk basketballs. So you're talking about two entirely different types of games. You see what I'm saying? So basically, I just wanted to make that clear to Hashim, because I feel like he needs this information because he feels some type of way about guys having sex with his woman. Because trust me, I was that dude. I used to have sex with a lot of dudes, girlfriends and wives as a hobby. Now, I always tell guys, do not do this. This is dangerous. Because there's a lot of guys out there who will try to do something to you if they find out you're doing something with their woman. But what I'm saying is that this is something that I used to do. You see what I'm saying? So before I was with my wife, I had a girlfriend. We were monogamous, but I cheated on her like 18 times. It was horrible. And I felt bad after a while. And I said, why am I cheating on this woman? Why don't I just be honest and be like, look, I want to see other women, right? And so what happened is that when me and my wife got together, she wanted to be in a relationship with me. I told her, hey, if we're going to be in a relationship, this is going to be open, which means I'm going to be seeing other women. And because I'm going to be seeing other women, you will have time to yourself. And when you have your time to yourself, if you want to see other dudes, cool, strap up, make sure they strap up and have fun. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be over here doing my thing. You see what I mean? And so that's what happens when you have a non-monogamous relationship. Now, you have different types of non-monogamous relationships, and I explained that in the program, How to Have a Successful Non-Monogamous Relationship, which you guys can get at shoplocario.com. So make sure you check that out.
Also, I find the people who are so obsessed with that C word are probably describing themselves anyway. It's kind of like, why are so many people obsessed with this fucking word in the last year?
Love that.
It's so strange.
They love that stuff because this is the thing. A lot of dudes, unfortunately, right? They are not comfortable with who they are and what they're about, right? And so a lot of guys low key either like it or they fear it. You understand what I'm saying? So meaning that a lot of guys fear their woman fucking with another dude, not just because of like, oh, you're cheating on me and, I don't want my girlfriend. No, it's deeper than that. The reason
they think about it every time they watch a video on YouTube, they think about it.
Right.
So fantasize about it.
That's what I'm saying. And what it is deeper than that, because what happens is this, right? When you're a beta male and you're not really attractive to women, shout out to Ron Mills, he calls it non-select. When you're a non-select guy, when you're a guy who has trouble getting women, right? You have a scarcity mindset and you live in scarcity. So if a dude with game comes around, what's going to happen is that you're scared your woman is going to be attracted to the man who has game. which means you're going to lose your woman, right? So in fact, what most guys don't understand is monogamy was invented really for men, because what it did was it gave men an opportunity to have a woman, because the guys who are the most powerful and most attractive was taking all the women. You see what I'm saying? So monogamy really is for men. You understand? So monogamy is for guys like Hashim, because right. Hashim is scared, right, that a guy like me is going to take his girl. You feel what I'm saying? So it's created for him. See, guys who get women don't care. Remember I said, we keep going back to this theme. Remember at the beginning of the video, I said, the game is about you. Focus on yourself, right? Beta males focus on women. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is why dudes like Hashim, what happens is that they focus on women and they're scared that a man is going to take the woman from them. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I have never in my life cared about a woman leaving me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because what happens is that whether she stays or goes, I'm still here. I'm my favorite person. You see what I'm saying? So whether she's there, this is what I'm saying to guys that they don't have this mindset. A lot of these dudes, if their woman left them, they would unalive themselves. They would be in a super deep depression. They'll go super crazy, right? And that's because they put so much energy and they put so much focus on the woman. You see what I'm saying? And that's why they're scared to lose the chick. That's why they're worrying about what the girl is doing, right? So if you're a guy with a masculine identity, you say, hey, this is how I live my life, and I do it a particular way, right? So let's say that you are a monogamous guy. Like, you want to just one woman and that's it. That's cool. So the woman knows, hey, it's just us two. And if you cheat on me, or I find out you cheat on me, you're gone. That's it. You understand what I'm saying? That's it. So what happens is that if you have that standard and you have that boundary, all you got to do is get rid of the woman if she cheats on you, right? But what do these guys do? And this is a lot of guys are low key like this. Do you know that there's a lot of guys who their woman cheated on them and they know the woman cheated on them and they don't like the fact that she cheated on them, but they still stayed? There's a lot of guys right now in relationships where the woman has cheated on him and he stayed. And the reason why he stayed is because he's scared to lose her. So even though she cheated on him, he still stayed. You understand what I'm saying? And there's a lot of guys who do that, but they don't really say anything about it. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of these dudes, they don't even stand on their own thing. And the reason why they don't stand on their own thing is because most guys who are monogamous, unfortunately, they didn't choose monogamy. They were forced into monogamy. Because they have no choice, because they don't have an abundance of women who want to fuck with them. You see what I'm saying? It's really that simple.
Interesting. It's like when Tom Holland Spider-Man said, "But I'm nothing without the suit," and then Iron Man said, "That's the problem. If you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it."
Right. Exactly. That's a fact.
If you're nothing without your relationship, you shouldn't have a fucking relationship.
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
that is a fact.
Why do so many guys fall into the friend zone?
Man, again, it's because these dudes don't have leadership skills. They don't have a program. So they end up just being what the woman wants. And remember, this is what I tell you guys. You're going to come across, see, this is the thing. Women have guys that they're not interested in, guys who they'll settle for, and guys who they actually want. So the guys who they're not interested in are always going to be in the friend zone. You understand what I'm saying? And when I say they're not interested in them, they're not interested in them sexually. So that's why they're in the friend zone, right? And so basically the friend zone happens when a loser is around the woman he actually is attracted to, and he just hopes and prays that one day she will like him, right? But if a lot of guys, actually love themselves, they would never put themselves in that position. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it works.
All right. Let's see what other questions we got here. Someone been saving some comments here, I guess. Your standards and principles should never be attached to a face or a figure. Those are the things that are beautiful and sexy. The face and a figure can come and go as they please.
That's true.
I think I was saving up questions.
Right.
Stop your questions, guys. I do have one or two more. What are the big mistakes guys make in thinking that they need to spend money on women? Where's the line between don't do it and maybe do it?
Well, so the thing is, I say you should never spend money on women. You understand what I'm saying? Like, meaning, and so what does that mean? Because they're like, Locario, what do you mean? That don't make no sense. If I'm going on a date and I ain't not spending money, no. Remember, switch your mindset, right? When I say never spend money on women, right, that means that if, let's say, for example, if you are on a date with a chick, the chick is just accompanying you to things that you want to do anyway, and you are paying for the experience, but it's not for her, right? Because this is the problem. When you start thinking in the mindset of spending money on women, then you're also thinking about doing things for women. And then therefore you're making it about women, right? So the thing is that you're spending money on you, the experience you want to have, and then she's coming along. You understand what I'm saying? Because check this out. If I'm on a date with a chick, let's say it's the first time I meet this woman, we get drinks, right? I'm not spending money on her because who she is could be anybody. It could be any woman. You understand what I'm saying? Any woman could be in that chair sitting next to me on this date. Like, she's not special. She has no relevance right now. She's just a woman sitting there. She has a vagina. She got some boobs and she got a pretty face, right? So now I'm not doing this for her because who the fuck is she? She's just a random chick. It could be replaced in 2 seconds. And matter of fact, this is a funny part. I actually had a situation like that where I was on a date once, and this chick, she was acting funny, so I bounced. I cut the date short, and then literally like maybe 2 minutes later, I was talking to another girl, and then I'm interacting with her. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm saying. The woman doesn't matter. You understand what I'm saying? And when you start to think that the woman matters, then you start to think that you're spending money on her. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you got to get out that mindset of spending money on women, right? The thing is that even when a woman becomes your girlfriend, wife, and you're taking a woman out, that woman to a fancy restaurant, or you guys are going out on a date night or whatever, right? Understand that you're still actually not spending money on her, right? She's under your program. So therefore, you're spending money that you spend based on how you do things. It's just like this. If I hire somebody for my company and I buy some staplers, am I buying the staplers for the employee that works there? No, I'm buying the staplers for my company. They're just going to use the staplers to staple paper when we need to get some paper stapled. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's the same type of thing. So you're getting a woman into your world. Don't think you're doing it for them. Because once you start thinking you're doing it for them, that's when you get into the mindset of making the game about women. And then this is where a lot of times guys actually resent women and start hating women. Because if I'm doing it for the woman, and then let's say I wanted to have sex with her and she doesn't have sex with me, now I'm mad at her. Let's say I'm doing it for the woman and she gives me some type of attitude and nothing pops off. Now I'm upset at her. Let's say I'm doing it for the woman and then I set up a reservation and I had to, put up $25 or $50 to keep the reservation open or whatever. She doesn't show up to the date and then I'm mad at her. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of hatred that men have is because they do things for women. If I'm doing nothing for women and everything for me, how could I ever hate her? You see what I'm saying? I can't. You see what I mean? That's what I'm trying to.
Interesting.
That's why the red pill is so mad. A lot of times they're mad at women because what the red pill guys do is
hey, I spent $20,000 on this OnlyFans girl and he only got a hug, man.
Exactly right. That's what I'm saying.
Turns into hating.
That's what I'm saying. And so that's why a lot of these dudes are hating because they were doing things for the woman. Sometimes you might hear a guy say he has a girlfriend or whatever, and he's mad at his girlfriend. He's like, but but you told me you wanted this and I gave you this and now blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, you were doing things just because she told you. You were doing things for her. You understand? Don't do anything for women. Women only benefit as a byproduct of being under your leadership, under your program. You see what I'm saying? So anything you're doing is for you. She gets to benefit off the things you're doing for yourself. That's how it's supposed to work. Because then now you don't have to talk about, oh, well, these females need to be held accountable. That's what the red pill says. We need to hold these females accountable. No, hold yourself accountable for being a dumbass and doing stuff for women and then getting mad. You know what I'm saying? That she ain't going in your direction. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
The dating pipeline has to be studied. I absolutely fucking agree. Hope we got some revelations here.
Mm-hmm.
That we need some fucking scientific studies on the shit right now. I'm serious. It's insane. Like there are lots of guys who are, or women, I guess, on social media saying, if it wasn't for the demand, there wouldn't be so many OnlyFans creators. Whatever. But
Right.
At the same time, you know, I keep seeing all these random screenshots of what the average is like a few $100 a month. So we're talking extremes here, but some women are making like $600,000 a month on OnlyFans, and they're not anything particularly special. It's just they're making themselves accessible. Who are they making themselves accessible to? To the ass boys who fucking can't get anything, who are willing to spend their fucking money on a woman they probably never met, most likely never met. And what are they gonna get in return? A fucking image on a screen? Like, as a Jewish person, like, I completely agree with not spending money on dates and that time of shit. Man, I split the fucking check everywhere I fucking go.
Right.
You're telling me stuff I already knew because I'm Jewish, and I just it never occurred to me the idea of wasting my fucking money. So I never had to kind of learn that. I'm just like, I'm not spending my fucking money on all this pointless shit. I'm not giving money to other people. I don't give money to charity. I'm a fucking Ebenezer Scrooge kind of guy. Anyway, I'm ranting on there. What's your take on Clavicular and the sudden rising popularity of guys who believe in looks maxing?
Man, well, the thing is, a lot of these dudes, unfortunately, because they don't really understand, women, they think that, okay, well, if I look better, then I'll be more attractive to women, but that's just surface level stuff, right? Now, a woman will be attracted to you, in some situations based on your look, right? But a lot of times what happens is that they're trying to look better because they're coming from their male mind thinking, well, I like a girl who looks this way or looks good. So therefore, if I look better, women will like me. The problem with that is that that's just a surface level talking point and idea. Because what happens is that women don't have problems getting good looking guys or attracting good looking men. So therefore, you being good looking doesn't make you special, right? What makes you unique, special, and interesting is who you are overall. You see what I'm saying? And so the problem is that when these guys don't understand this, then they're in situations where they're working on the outer shell, but they're not working on themselves internally. And then that makes them unattractive. So they look good, but they're not really attractive to the woman. And that's the problem. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I also think it's a little bit gay to just like focus so much on looking so pretty. There's something weird about it. I really can't conclude it much more than seems kind of gay. I'm gonna grow my beard as long as I fucking want. I'm gonna look like a fucking Dumbledore ass motherfucker, and I don't give a shit. Now, am I using some things to kind of like try to straighten my beard over time? And yeah, but I'm not like painting my fucking nails or putting eyeliner on or enhancing my eyelashes and wearing earrings and random shit like that. That's just crazy to me. to some extent. But anyway,
Right.
drop your questions, guys. I know there are a few here. Here's one. I always go sexual in the first messages to know if she's attracted to me. Should I continue that?
So this is what I would say. Whenever you're doing anything, whenever you're talking sexual and all that other stuff, it depends on the context. So when you first meet a woman, right, it's better to have that sexual talk either FaceTime, on the phone, or in person, so that there's communication. She can hear your tone. She can, all that other stuff, right? Now, once you've already established some sort of sexual activity with the woman, so let's say you meet a girl, y'all went out or something, you ended up sleeping with each other that night, y'all end up hooking up, and then because you hooked up, then at that point you can text her sexual stuff. So save the sexual texting or the sexting in most cases for the woman you've already had sex with. If you didn't have sex with her, you should be flirting, building sexual tension, and talking sexually through your mouth so she can hear you, y'all having that conversation and interaction. Because a lot of times what happens is that tone is lost through text. You see what I'm saying? And then so what happens is that you're losing the actual tone of the situation through the text. And so therefore it's better when you have the conversation and have that interaction through you guys speaking to each other so that she can feel what you're saying and everything like that. So I would say to just switch it up in that way.
Yeah, I'll throw in my answer to this. I would say like anything sexualized over messages is pretty much pointless. Like it's all fun and games collecting nudes from a bunch of women when you're much, much fucking younger. But then it becomes kind of boring and you're like, I prefer the real thing. So what I'm way more concerned with, I'm not concerned with sexualized messages, getting nudes and shit like that. I am much more concerned with actually getting her to meet me because that's proximity. My penis is here, her vagina is here. We could be doing some activity to spend time together, have fun together, and that can lead to sex. My real question back to you is, how is this actually leading to sex? Because the main thing that matters is getting her in front of you. That is what I'm concerned with, not all this extra stuff, because you can't have sex with a fucking phone. I'm not one of those stupid ass OnlyFans guys pay money to look at pixelated images on a phone for no particular reason. It's just crazy to me. So yeah, it's the real thing if you get her to meet you and just lead from there. You don't have to sexualize it in advance. That's how I would say. Voice messages too, you can do that. Personally, I wouldn't. I got a shit voice anyway. I'm like a redneck who loses his voice half the days. I'm just super inconsistent. Yeah, I never do. If you get a voice message from me, it's probably my ass accidentally pressed the button and I'm like coughing up blood or something. Anyway, me ranting on about the most random shit. When are you going to debate beta male strategies? Is it basically just 90% of the male population?
You talking about somebody else. He being ridiculous right now. That's crazy. We ain't even gonna get into that. That's funny.
Yeah, damn. I did actually want to ask you, do you know who Arash Dibazar is?
Yeah. I did it was me, him, and this other dude on this live at once. Yes, I've seen his stuff.
Yeah, I've been talking to him and he's like willing to anyone. You're willing to debate anyone. So I think it would just be, I think you'll probably agree on a lot of things actually, because you do have both of you have this kind of thing to you where you can really just talk about so many philosophical directions and you're not extremely specific to a particular topic. I could literally throw any fucking topic at you and you'll come up with all this crazy stuff that, well, not crazy stuff, all this stuff that is unpredictable that you can't really predict and put into questions. you know. But anyway, guys, drop your questions in. If you're willing, we can set up a debate between you and Arash Dibazar. I just think I don't think you'll disagree. I just think you'll just be an interesting conversation.
Right,
That's
right.
pretty much the only reason why.
Yeah, no, we
Because
can
I
do all
don't
that.
know where it's going,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that there's going to be an extremely unique conversation. That's all I know. You're
Mm-hmm.
probably going to agree on a lot of stuff. I'm guessing.
Right,
I don't know too well.
right.
Anyway, get a question here. Hello, all. For formalized, do friend cockblocks transgress a woman's autonomy and agency, or are they doing the right thing for her? And what do the women think of it when her friends, male or female, cockblock? Interesting question.
Wait, do friends cockblocks transgress a woman's autonomy and agency, or are they doing all the right thing for her? And what do the women think of it when her friends? So basically, what it is this, right? When a woman is when you're trying to talk to a girl and let's say her friend are cock blocking and everything like that, sometimes it's hating, right? Other times, every once in a while it's because she knows that the friend may not really be into you, and she, the friend gave her a look to come save her. So like, get me away from this guy type of thing. But in general, what happens is that the cock blocking happens mainly because of the hating from the other girls, right? So this is why, and I talk about this on my Bad Boy membership program, how to approach groups of women, is that when you approach groups of women, you should be talking to the entire group first, and then you pull the woman to the side who you want to talk to for real, and then continue from there, right? But yeah, most of the time it's just her friends are hating, so you got to kind of get her away from her friends, but also talk to the group first just to kind of like fill everything out, and then pull it to the side and do what you got to do. Yeah.
This guy's asking, would you ever debate the legend of Mr. 1950? Like, aren't your friends already like collaborating?
Yeah, we already on the real game of theory, so you can, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I haven't seen him in a while. I'd love to have him on much more.
Mm-hmm.
The game is not up for debate. That's a nice quotation.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Great interview. I want to run through this one. I need more information. I am tough on you when it comes to the ridiculous voting system, but you are redeemed with this, with a true dating coach. What do you mean the dating system? Are you talking about like the polls we're doing on particular things? Because whatever it is, I will say, first of all, that's democracy. Second of all, I hate democracy. I think even on a political level, democracy fucking sucks because stupid people can vote and they're given equal power. And we're not living in a fucking democracy anyway. It's representative democracy. That's not democracy. So don't blame me. Blame the people who are voting. Like, just blame democracy. As I like to say, especially in the last in the last 12 months, I've been saying so much. Democracy doesn't work. So that's my view on it. I really don't give a shit whatever the outcome is, and I give no shits for democracy. I think there needs to be competent dictatorship, like in the Roman Empire. But shit can go terribly wrong with dictatorships. We're getting too political now. I'll stop before everyone starts hating on me, calling me a dictator, a sympathizer, a terrorist, and all that kind of usual shit. Anyway, catch up with the chat here. Drop your questions, guys. Probably not even here. So anyway, what other kinds of things have you been discussing on your channel? I did tune in towards the end yesterday. You and Miles were discussing that ABBA guy. What kind, like, you are super consistent. You do live streams probably every day or almost every day. When you say you're coming on the channel, you confirm on Google Calendar, you say you're going to be there, and you are there. You're never late. So it reminds me of what you were saying before about cooperation being 100%. It starts with your actions. As I remember, Carrie Zagan was talking about that. If whatever you do, I can't remember exactly what it was. If you do one thing, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
So you're extremely consistent. How do you decide what to talk about? And like, what are some of the recent things you have talked about on your channel?
Yeah, usually it's, well, the thing is I see what other people are talking about or issues people are having, or if I have a client that has an issue, I'll be like, oh, this will be a good topic and all that other stuff. But the consistency, you know, comes from just understanding what comes with consistency, which is success. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of times what happens is that the inconsistencies people have are the reasons why they don't have success in the areas of their life they want to have success in, right? So the reason why a lot of people's relationships fall by the wayside or they have issues in the relationships is because of inconsistency. The reason why people can't succeed as far as in their business or, you know, trying to make a bunch of money, however they want to make it, may be inconsistencies, right? So the thing is that when you're being consistent, then what happens is that you get to reap the benefits of consistency. Right now, it's not to say that you're going to be perfect at everything or everything's going to happen in a way where it's perfect all the time, right? So the problem is that most people, what they do is they end up on purpose doing things on their own to mess things up when they could have just been consistent to keep it going, right? So there's certain things that happen like an act of God or whatever where you can't control it. It is what it is, and that's what happened, right? But there are times where things go left because you decided to not be consistent. So that's why, you know, I take consistency very you know, serious to make sure that I'm on the right track of making things happen how I want it to happen. Hit his head?
Yeah, I got a funny question here. Oh, I gotta ask this one. It's so good. Because I uploaded an Instagram. I can't Instagram. What the fuck? I can't speak to that. Instagram reel a few days ago of this clip. Locario, is it true black guys are born with a mouthpiece? I heard some Asian guy, Mike Pickup Alpha, that he was debating, say that to you before. He was saying you're black, you were born right, you came out of the womb pimping chicks is what he said. I wasn't sure if there was any hope for me since I'm a white ginger.
Right. No, that's the, you know, shout out to Charlie in the chat. But that's the thing, like, you know, it's funny because guys really be thinking that too. They really think that's a real thing where they like, you know, they'll say, oh, well, I'm this race, or I'm this ethnicity, so this is harder for me because I'm this race or this ethnicity when it comes to the dating game. That's crazy. So a lot of times what happens is that they say these things or think these things because they may have issues, right? But they want to attribute it to something that is not, so they don't actually have to do the work. You feel what I'm saying? So they'd be like, oh, well, because I'm Asian, I can't do this, or because I'm Indian, this is not going to happen. But it's not because of that. It's because you're not actually putting in the work it takes to make things happen exactly how you want it to happen. It's really that simple. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was fucking hilarious, though. Every time I see that clip, it's just, man, this never gets fucking old. Speaking of things getting old, I did see a question here. How do you maintain the joy for dating and novelty as you get older?
That's a good question. So the thing is you got to basically just enjoy doing things in your life, period. Right. And so therefore, if you enjoy doing things in your life, just in general, you're also going to enjoy dating. The reason why most people don't enjoy dating, or they have issues with it, or they're frustrated, is because they put dating on a pedestal, right? So they put, you know, women on a pedestal, women will put men on a pedestal, or dating or relationships on a pedestal. And then so they put so much pressure on themselves to not only date, but date how they think they're supposed to date based on societal standards. So they're like, man, I'm this age, so I should have been married already, or I'm this age, so I should have had kids, or whatever thing they think they're supposed to have. They you know, They're gravitating towards that. So then dating becomes this chore or this inconvenience instead of something that they can enjoy. But the key is to enjoy it just like you would enjoy anything else in your life, like eating a good meal or watching a movie or relaxing or working out, whatever. You got to enjoy it just like how you would enjoy everything else. Don't put dating, sex, and all that on a pedestal, because then you're going to put too much pressure on yourself to try to attain those things. And that's the thing that's going to make you frustrated, because you're basically making that thing more important than it needs to be. And then therefore you know, by contrast, you're going to be like, damn, well, I can't enjoy myself or enjoy my life because this thing isn't happening with the dating situation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I want to throw on that. There are so many people, men and women, who do this thing with dating where they have the wrong mindset with dating. No wonder they get so fucking frustrated with it, bored with it, tired of it, because they're fucking doing it wrong. So on one side, there are people who do checklisting. They're like, I want to find a man who makes $100,000 a year. He's 6 foot tall. Like, I'm just repeating a lot of that fucking red pill content.
Right.
But obviously, a lot of you guys have seen this kind of stuff on Tinder, where a woman has a fucking checklist. Like, you need to have perfect teeth and the most arbitrary fucking things.
Right.
Checklisting is a huge problem. Another huge problem is interviewing. There's so many people, men and women, who go on dates with the mindset of interviewing the fucking person in front of them. So, what do you do for work? What, all these random I don't even know whatever questions they ask on top of that, because that's not my fucking mindset with dating. I like to actually have fun. Fun is my agenda. I like to do fun things that are on my bucket list of life, things that are enjoyable. Because if you let fun be the agenda, then it takes care of the vast majority of the interaction. You don't have to worry about, especially if you're a beginner, you don't have to worry about what to say next or what questions to ask. If you're in the moment doing something genuinely fun, let fun do some of the leading for you. But of course, you obviously have to be leading yourself as well. If you want her to come back to your place, fun just can't do that for you. You have to lead. So fun makes the dates so much easier. If your dates are genuinely fun, and there's another version of you that just asks boring ass fucking interview questions. Like, what is she doing? Trying to sign up for a fucking relationship? That's not how dating should work. People are tired of dating because they're having the complete wrong fucking approach to it. So that's one thing I would say. And in terms of relationships, one other thing I want to throw on this. Every Saturday, I try to have with my wife date night. And like, for us, Saturday is family day. We like to go out somewhere. So we went to watch the Michael Jackson movie on Saturday last week. And if you were here at the beginning, I was expressing my frustration about what happened. But after, I went to Parque Chino, which is Chinese park in Spanish. And it's just this little park where people like to take photos. And for me, that's an opportunity to explore a new part of the city, something that might be fun. My daughter's with us, so I can take photos of her, have some family memories. And that's something that is utilitarian in a way, because it's fun and there's a usefulness that goes with it. So I don't design my dating life to be that way. I design my life to be that way. I do the things I want to do because I want to fucking do it, and I think it's fun. That should be your mindset with dating. That's all I want to say with that.
No, exactly. And that's the thing, is that a lot of people, you know, what they do is that they basically, you know, make their dating lives into this kind of like life or death thing, or it has to be this certain way, or I'm going to be upset, and they put so much pressure on themselves, and then you get jaded and not want to do it anymore. You get frustrated, you just give up, and you're like, oh, this is whack. And then the issue is you're not going to really push yourself to do the things in order for you to get success. You know what I'm saying?
Question here.
Yeah. So I got another maybe 15 minutes and I got to head up out of here, but just letting you know.
Yeah, sure. Okay. A lot of your game is based on being direct and quick escalation. How do you adapt to conservative or religious girls?
Oh, I don't. It's just the thing. So I don't believe in adapting to the woman. I believe in the woman adapting to me. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the thing where I say, don't make the game about women, right? You make the game about you, right? So meaning that you are supposed to make sure that however you want things done, it's done in the way that you want it to be, and then only deal with women who are basically going to go in your direction. Right. So the thing is that a lot of guys, that's their issue, is they're trying to adapt to women. You feel what I'm saying? They're trying to adapt to, situations where the woman wants it a certain way. And then that's you following the woman at that point.
Yeah. And in terms of religious goals, it's kind of funny because as an atheist, I like to say I am God. And what I mean by that is not to be egotistical or anything, but I genuinely don't believe in a monotheistic deity like some white man wearing sandals with a white beard, probably the future version of me, up in the clouds somewhere, and he has a son called Jesus. I don't believe in that shit. I believe in the universe, and there was a philosopher, I can't remember the name, but he was basically saying that depth in which there is nothing greater is what God is. Okay, so that's the universe. God is the universe. I am part of the universe. Therefore, I am God.
Right.
This cup is God. This bottle of aloe vera is God. Everything in the room, everything you can touch, everything in the universe itself is God. So jokingly, I'm just going to tell you, just tell her you're God. 10% of the time, it works all the time. I'm just joking, of course. Don't take that too seriously. Yeah, keep up with the chat here. What the fuck is going on with my mouse? Let's see. One other thing here. Isn't showing sexual attraction before meeting. He's doing like French words here. Filter, attention whores, and time wasters.
Says isn't showing sexual attraction before meeting. So the thing is this is I'm guessing he's talking about like he matches with a girl maybe on an app or something like that. If that's the case, if you're talking about, well, let's do it in two parts. If you're talking about an app, your bio and your pictures on your dating app should already show the woman that you are a sexually attractive guy, where it's going to be a casual situation. Like your bio and your pictures, basically your whole profile should dictate that, so that when the girl matches and you message her to try to set something up, then that's already clear, right? A lot of guys, and this is why you guys should go to shoplocario.com and get an online dating consultation, is that what happens is that some of y'all on the online dating sites, your profile is basically showing women or giving them the idea that, you're boyfriend material or you're a nice guy, right? So your profile should basically be doing, half the work for you. Now, if you meet a woman randomly on the street or at the bar, at a club, whatever it is like that, there should be you flirting and building sexual tension there, so that she knows that this is where you want to go in the situation. You see what I'm saying? And so it shouldn't be a situation where you meet a girl, whether it's in person or a girl sees your profile online, and then you get her number, and then you're trying to flirt with her, texting her, doing all this other stuff. She should already know through the first, interaction, whether she first sees your profile or she first meets you in person, that this is where you're trying to go with the situation. You see what I'm saying? So, and if you guys need help with the bios and your profiles on the online stuff, go to shoplocario.com and get an online dating consultation. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's go for one last question. Let's see. What's Mr. Locario's opening location. You once said you go up to her and say, you look good. I want to pick you up and rub you down. If you're down, let me get your number. I'm going to call you later. Is this what you do? Explain.
Want to pick you up and rub you down? When I say I want to pick
bitch needs seasoning, man.
That's funny. That's hilarious. I mean, I'm sure I didn't say it like that, but basically, I think what he's trying to say is that, you know, going direct and flirting and being sexual. So this is the thing. You guys, when you're talking to women, right? You want to get your point across, but how you get your point across has to be in a way that's comfortable for you to get it across, right? So I'm not afraid to, when I'm having a conversation with a woman, to make it a little bit more spicy and sexual. Some guys may not be comfortable with that. But either way, when myself or you walk away from a woman or having a conversation and the conversation ends, the woman has to know in some form or fashion what you want to happen before numbers are exchanged. You see what I'm saying? And so the thing is that sometimes, you know, if I talk to a girl, random girl, I might keep it just regular PG stuff, but she still knows through my words and action that this is going to be a flirtatious sexual thing. So I don't got to go crazy hard, but she knows this. Or I could be having a conversation and I'll be real explicit with it just because I feel like being that way in that moment, right? But either way, before I even give her my number or take a woman's number, it has to be clear exactly what I want to happen and her basically cooperating with that. So a lot of guys, what they do is they just go up to a girl, hey, what's up? My name's so-and-so. I think you're kind of cute. Let's, give me your number. We should hang out. Right. And so they're not looking to see, is this woman actually interested in them? And so the girl will just give them the number and then they'd be like, yo, I texted her. She didn't reply. And it's like, yeah, she didn't reply because she was never interested the entire time. She just gave you the number because you said, give me the number. But you didn't see through the interaction if she was interested or not. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Alrighty, thanks for jumping on. I do got to say, because of how the recording thing works, you might have to stay in a few minutes after you turn your camera off. I don't think it's actually a few minutes, but yeah, feel free to summarize and drop. God, what's wrong with me today? Feel free to share your final message.
Yeah, man, just guys, just make sure that you guys go to shoplocario.com, go to badboymembership.com, join the membership. If you need some help with your dating life, hit me up for some coaching. And, we could get that going. We could get it cracking. You know what I'm saying? So, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. And Ice White, I appreciate you having me here, man. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you having me come through.
Thanks for jumping on. Catch you guys on the other side. Or actually, I want to challenge you guys still watching, since I'm guessing most of you guys are more familiar with Mr. Locario than you are with me. I want to challenge you to ask me a question while Locario's on the way up. Or if you want to stick around and watch, that's okay.
Oh yeah, no, I gotta head out in a second. So man, but yeah, again, I appreciate you. Hit me up, and yeah, let's do it again. If you have any other people coming on and y'all want to have a discussion, let me know. I'm down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll try to set up some debates.
Yeah, let me know.
Catch you on your side. Thanks.
All right, bro.
Now for the guys. Thanks. Oh, and there's a guy saying here, nice shirt. Doesn't it look a little bit like Miles Cunningham? Slight coincidence. If you don't know what this is, everyone fucking knows by now. This is from the TV show Dexter, a good 20 years ago. Long story short, serial killer working for the police department, and he kills bad guys. So nobody knows, but as a viewer, you pretty much support him because he's killing all the bad guys. But anyway, for you guys still watching, can you drop me a few questions? I just want to see, let's get to know each other, I guess. I don't know why. It's just an idea I came up with. We'll see. Dexter, there we go. And it's filled with fucking memes. And the memes were popular like 20 years ago. And then they became popular again in like the last year or something like that. And so I went to watch I still gotta do the spin-off shows from after the original. But I really fucking recommend watching that show. Like, so fucking good. Some people hate the ending, and I probably do too, actually. But it's still pretty fucking good. Anyway, give me a question at least. I challenge you guys to drop me one question. I know there is something in here. Let me see this. Where is the skill in talking to as many women as possible to see who likes a man enough to give him sex? And if the skill is the guy noticing time wasters, what's the skill to retain them? Interesting question. If the skill is the guy noticing time wasters, what's the skill to retain them? Yeah, interesting. I call this the second part of your question, at least stage 2 of game relationships. So whatever you learn in dating, this is the problem with the pickup artist community. Obviously, a lot of you guys watching are more familiar with Mr. Locario. I'm more familiar with the pickup artist community, but I'm not exclusive. I wouldn't describe myself as one of those guys. I have always been the exception to the rule, like everywhere I have ever been. But anyway, what I will say is a lot of guys in the pickup community, they don't even consider anything to do with maintaining a woman. So it is, or as you say, retaining. It is such a key thing to learn because there are so many guys who end up getting divorced, getting their hearts broken in relationships, committing suicide, as Locario was saying, because they had a breakup. And it's really sad that this happens, but you really do need to learn game, or if you're vague in what game actually means, consider the word leadership. Leadership in your, oh, you're fucking knocked over the microphone. Leadership in your dating life, leadership in your relationships. And that's exactly what we were going through today, because I know Mr. Locario talks about game not in terms of pickup artistry, dating. He talks about game in terms of dating and relationships. So that's why I value having his observations on this kind of stuff. Do I personally promote direct game? No, not necessarily. So what I mean here is personally, I'm an indirect gamer. So I prefer indirect, but I do acknowledge that you are preventing yourself from beating around the bush if you're very much doing direct game. So the way I would describe my version, I'm not a direct gamer. I am, in a nutshell, a low volume indirect gamer. So what this means is I was getting laid before I got into this whole sphere, I guess. So I didn't come from the perspective of I need to get laid or I'm a virgin or anything like that. I had no problem getting, I had a problem retaining. That was my issue. And that's why I was so interested in coming into this about 10 years ago. So yeah, I'm not a direct gamer. I'm an indirect gamer. I put out a very fascinating article recently on the website. Allow me to screen share. Like, seriously, it is genuinely interesting. It might be a little complicated for people who have who are like super new to the idea of frame and frame control. But let's see if I can screen share this. Let's do that one. Let's put it on. There we go. God, I can't speak today. What the fuck? You're doing dating wrong, dating frame, which is what most people are doing, versus friend frame. So long story short, most people are doing this. Most people are simping. By the way, that's not me simping. I just wanted to recreate that scene from The Wolf of Wall Street. I thought it was cool. How Quentin Tarantino wanted. But anyway, the dating frame essentially is you ask a woman out, you take her on a formal date, that kind of thing, versus the friend frame. Friend frame is understanding. The point is getting her in front of you. It doesn't matter what the context is. You don't have to have romantic intentions behind you meeting up. The thing that matters is that you are in proximity. You are there, she is here. You're on a date activity. It's a date, but it's not a date, but it is a date because you have the opportunity to move it forward. So essentially, friend frame, it's not that you're being a friend or that you're being friend zoned or anything like that. It's that you're a human, you're a man, and you're not suddenly dickless just because you have female friends. But because you're surrounded by female friends, you're more likely to get laid. That's pretty much part of the explanation behind it. But let's see if I have a, I think there's, yeah, here we go. This is a good illustration of what this kind of means. Asking a woman out, you're more likely to get rejected earlier on. Let me see myself in the camera here. So imagine a timeline here of the possible existence or interaction with a woman. If you're doing direct game, you're probably, if you're getting rejected, let's say you get rejected, you're probably getting rejected here early. But if you do the other thing, inviting a woman to hang out, no romantic attachment to it, but the possibility is there. The possibility is there. You're more likely to get her in front of you because you're not putting the romantic intention there. Your romantic intention is unnecessary. The thing that's necessary is getting her in front of you. So in that sense, I am really into promoting indirect game, but I don't dismiss direct game. Just want to make that clear. But what I mean here, if you imagine a timeline, let me stop screen sharing this. Imagine a timeline. If you do direct game, you ask a woman out or whatever, if you get rejected, you get rejected here. If you have a bunch of female friends, and let's take one of them, if you make a move somewhere, you're less likely to be rejected. If you, and that's considering you suddenly start doing direct game. You suddenly start doing direct game. Or what I prefer to mean more so than that is you start escalating it somewhere from there. You hang out like once or twice because there are other people around. So you're not focusing all your attention on her, for example. It's much more of a social circle game concept. But anyway, God, there are lots of things in chat here. Oh God, no, not this. Are you gonna shoot for another 24-hour live stream? Oh my God, I'm already seeing double. No, yeah, nearly done here. Bladders. Turned hours and 2 minutes. I did all of that, and there were only like 2 gaps somewhere in the whole 24 hours where nobody else was there on the panel but me. I was alone for like 9 minutes at one point and 5 minutes at another point, something like that. Just alone, just waiting for the chat to talk to me. So alone. But seriously, 24 fucking hours, it went way better than I expected. And I only got the idea like a few days before. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But it kind of worked out. The only problem was that anything over 12 hours, YouTube doesn't archive it. That's their words. And it's a similar thing with StreamYard and whatever thing you're going to use. So to protect for that, I would have to specifically enable a setting on StreamYard or something. And the original live stream on YouTube, you wouldn't be able to see it after the 24 hours or after 12 hours once it stopped. And there's no like rewinding or anything. So the live stream itself would be inaccessible. But if there's a recording, then that can be uploaded probably as a 24-hour video. Or I can't remember what the limit is, maybe 10 hours or something. But generally, it's just better to do it in parts. So I'm not turned off completely. And man, I feel like I literally only just finished that, but it was nearly 5 months ago now. And I have only done like 1 or 2 panels since. And like, what the fuck? Time is slipping from me. But yeah, if you guys can convince me to do another one of those, and seriously, you guys fucking missed out because in the last 2 hours or something, Miles Cunningham was fucking hilarious. He caught me falling asleep and he was yelling through the microphone and woke me up. And there were so many fucking highlights, especially between Mr. Locario and Miles Cunningham, especially in their parts of it. And a lot of that footage was lost. 14 hours of footage was lost. And it was the most heartbreaking thing because that moment with Miles and maybe an argument with Mr. Locario and Casey Brown, those were fucking super extreme, godly fucking biblical highlights, man. Those were insane, but the footage is fucking gone. So it's very heartbreaking. If I do a number 2 version of that later this year, lesson learned. I'll have to remember the mistakes. Let's see what else we got here. Reading the chat, nearly keeping up here. How can I got the greatest fucking answer for you, but you're gonna have to wait for it. How can I deflect the age gap as a guy in my 20s who is attracted to older women when I go to the bar? I have an article. I have 2 articles coming out on this. So go to gameglobal.net on, when will that be? 27 May and free June, especially the 3rd of June. Especially the 3rd of June. I got the craziest thing. Fucking, I don't want to spoil it. It's so fucking funny if you know some historical stuff. But please, I don't want to give my answer to this until June because I got the greatest fucking article that literally answers this question. It's the most hilarious fucking thing. I'm really looking forward to it. I just finished it yesterday, writing it. Double married woman, so I would never be married myself. Damn it. Okay, fair enough. I'd be zagging. That's true. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up. Last 1 or 2 comments here. What is your guys' opinion on materialist? What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Final thing, and then I'll finish. Didn't you say a dude called back into the show from jail? Oh yeah. That was also the footage that was lost. That was such a biblical fucking thing. I am so disappointed because that was the greatest thing that fucking happened. Not the greatest actually, but you know what I mean. That was the most insane and heartbreaking but dramatic thing that ever fucking happened. Holy shit. For the guys who weren't there, because man, that footage is fucking gone. But Mr. Locario and Miles Cunningham were on in the last 2 hours, and there was a guy who called in. And Miles Cunningham he opened up a call-in feature because I don't know how to fucking do that. And it was a fucking biblical moment, man. It's insane. This guy was calling in and he was saying that his girlfriend or wife, I think it's wife, moved in her male personal trainer into his home. So imagine you're a man and your wife, you have a wife and you have a child, and your wife moves in another man who is her personal trainer. What do you think's going to happen? Need I say anymore? Like, you're the king of the fucking castle. This is the advice I was saying. You're the king of the castle. You're the security guard. Why would you breach your own fucking walls? And this isn't to say you should make the assumption that every man is a risk to your relationship. It's not paranoia like that, but it's just called not being completely stupid. Now, I got nothing against the guy. Like, I genuinely want to help him. But he ended up being arrested during that live stream. It's the most insane thing we've ever fucking had on the channel, probably. The guy got arrested on the fucking live stream after he called in. His phone disconnected or some shit. And he was so fucking paranoid. And he was asking, like, is my wife cheating on me? Guys, what do you think? Because he's the personal trainer who got moved in because he was in financial difficulties. So the wife did it as a favor for her personal. How stupid. Nothing against the guy. How stupid do you have to be to let that happen? This is why boundaries are so important. Like, when you have a gun, it's not normal to suddenly want to shoot yourself in the foot. That's basically what this guy was doing. But anyway, dragging this on here, let me just summarize what happened. He got arrested because there was some argument with the wife or something. And he wanted to call in. It was the most heartbreaking fucking thing. And then we didn't hear from him for a while after that. It was like maybe 1 or 2 weeks. I was like, shit. Because I had to fucking sleep, but it was still on my mind for a while. I was like, what the fuck happened with this guy? Because he put into the chat that he just got fucking put to jail or something. And I can't remember exactly what happened after that, but the situation just got worse and worse and worse. But man, yeah, that's basically what happened. The most insane shit. Anyway, thanks for listening to my dreary ass at the end. I'm not as entertaining as some others, and I do stumble over my own fucking words sometimes. But I really appreciate you guys for coming on here and watching this all the way to the fucking end. Catch you guys on the other side. Game on. And my message to you, if you're genuinely struggling with something, or even if there's just a little problem, don't be afraid to ask a question. Now, I might say some obnoxious things like, this is a stupid question, or this is a silly question. But I mean it like, I do genuinely want to answer your questions with love. But at the same time, I have to say some controversial things, and not as much as many other people do on YouTube or Kick or whatever. But I have to be a little bit harsh. I have to give you that spiciness once in a while so you can get the fucking point, okay? So anyway, there's me rambling on. Catch you guys on the other side. Game on.